What's up? This is Rebel Radio.
What up? What up? This is DJ Newmark.
This is Peanut Butter Wolf.
It's your boy. It's okay.
Keep checking out Rebel Radio.
Rebel Radio.
This is Rebel Radio.
We're in the place right here. Rebel Radio is going down.
Would you say Rebel Radio?
Oh, wait. Let's do it again.
Rebel Radio.
What's up, Rebels? Welcome back to Rebel Radio, the weekly show where I talk to the rebels that are shaping youth culture. We find out how they do it, why they do it, and what you can do to get a little piece of the pie for yourself. We're also the only show to bring you new music every week from our friends over at EDM.com. I'm your host, Josh Levine, and my guest today is Cory Stout. Cory's the founder of Woodies sunglasses, and he's built a really interesting business to suit his lifestyle. He's got no office, no full-time employees. He's kind of based his whole model off of what he read in the 4-Hour Workweek, and it allows him to travel whenever he wants and just really create a unique work situation for himself and everybody that's on his team. It's a great story of how he's built that business, coming up right after our EDM.com track of the week. Yeah, that was Tim Schaufert and Cash for Gold with Awake, the EDM.com track of the week. If you like that one, get over to EDM.com for more new music. And now let's get into the interview with Cory Stout. Excellent. Well, right on, man. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Appreciate you making time.
Freaking happy to be here.
Totally. So I'm excited to learn about you and Woodies. I heard about you from Sonia, our mutual friend, and she just told me, you got to meet this guy, Cory. He has this sunglass business with no employees, and you travel all the time, which just sounds amazing.
Right.
So I'm excited to learn how you're doing that.
For sure.
But let's talk about how you got started. Were you always into fashion? Were you always going to be an entrepreneur? Was that?
I was going to be an entrepreneur one way or another, I think. And back in college, I was selling tickets. That's kind of my first intro to sales, which I think is the...
Like concert tickets?
Yeah, it was a football game tickets.
Oh, cool.
Back University of Florida. And I was on the street scalping with the best of them. You know? Who needs 2 tickets?
Yeah.
Who's selling tickets? Yeah. And then I graduated, got lucky because it was the Great Recession. So there's no job, so I had to figure it out. Otherwise, I might have just easily fallen into something that was paying okay.
Sure.
But moved to Austin after college. Did something for a year to get by. I don't really know what. And then my best friend from college was living in China, and he's teaching English over there. And he's like, "You got to come out here and see what it's all about."
Nice. So
went out to China, 6 weeks staying in Guangzhou. And I was just like, whoa, this is different. Something different's going on here.
Did you do like a teaching thing out there?
I was just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
Walking around, looking around, exploring, going out, partying, whatever.
Sure.
And then I started to see how it all worked. Like, oh, here's all the people that make stuff. Here's how they get it to the States. Here's who's doing what. Yeah.
So go back to selling tickets. I think that's such a great place to start. Yeah. And I always, we do marketing for brands, and I always feel like everybody should have that experience of being out promoting face to face, having conversations with people. Yeah. What do you think you learned from that you use now?
So rejection acceptance. Let's put it that way. Okay. So ticket selling in particular was standing in one place on a street, holding tickets up in the air as hundreds of people walk by you, and you say, "Who needs 2 tickets?" Yeah. No. Do you want 2 tickets? No. Do you want these tickets? How much are they? $100. No. So just, I don't know, what's the percentage of no's I'm willing to hear? Hundreds. Yeah. But then eventually enough people say, okay, yeah, I need those tickets, and then the sale gets done. So that process really got me over fear of rejection. Yeah. Fear of asking, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, they could say no. Does that harm me in any way? No. So keep moving. That's kind of what I got out of that.
That's big.
Yeah.
Where'd the idea for Woodies come from?
Woodies was, all right, so I'm in China. I started a watch company called Ticker.
Uh-huh.
And I started selling online back in 2013, 2012. And Shopify was just kind of getting going. And what was working for me was Groupon. I was one of the first products to ever get on Groupon. So we're selling these watches. Turns out they were crappy watches, so it didn't last that long.
Right.
So once that kind of flamed out, my friends that were still living in China, they're like, hey, we found this wood sunglasses. We didn't know, this is the first we've ever heard of this. No one else is doing this.
Yeah.
Cory, could you start a brand around this, get us a website, and get us on Groupon? So the first 3 partners in Woodies was my friend still living in China, me, and a guy that worked for Groupon. He insisted that he would be part of the equity of the company if he's going to get us this great big deal on Groupon.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how Woodies started, that we got a promise that we were going to get on Groupon, and we knew we would sell 8,000 or so glasses to launch, and that was enough to get us by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was there more to the vision than that, or was it just like a spur of the moment?
I mean, that was like here's the idea, we're gonna go with it. Now let's
Yeah.
find some inspiration.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, wood sunglasses, okay, sunglasses. You want to be by the beach, and I thought of the Woody, the great American classic sedan, the Woody. So I found a guy who was renting one in Miami, and I'm like, okay, I can do a photo shoot around this.
Yeah.
This will be the brand. We'll call it Woodies. It's gonna be like a 50s Americana vintage vibe, and then that was just the core idea, and then we really built on that a lot over the years. But that was kind of how it struck. Inspiration didn't strike. I kind of went looking for it.
Sure.
And then found something that I liked.
Yeah. So at that point, were you already kind of resigned to the idea that you were going to be an entrepreneur, or was it like?
Yeah, because I made a lot of money on that first Ticker watches thing, but it was this big up and then down.
Right.
So it was like I saw how good it could be, and then I saw what I did, what became its demise.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Which was what?
Which was quality control for the product and ambivalence to customer support. Because I'm so busy trying to sell. Create this business, create this brand, and people are like, oh, I had this watch for a year and it broke, and send me, and it was just like, I don't know, that I was just so forward focused that I wasn't thinking about customers, which is crazy. So luckily on Woodies, my mom took over customer service.
Amazing.
And she cares so much.
Yeah.
So that really made a difference.
Yeah. And so was the thought, like, I'm going to build this big company, we're going to be the next, Ray-Ban or whatever? Or, at what point, I guess what I'm wondering is, like, what was it that led you to the vision for what you've ended up building?
For the vision of, like, what Woodies is, or, like, what my lifestyle plus Woodies would be?
Yeah, maybe that.
Okay, so even when I was running that watch company, I was traveling. I was just knew I love traveling. I'm comfortable with traveling, and you just get so much when you're traveling. You're out on the road visiting people. I mean, look what happened on the trip to China. It changed the course of the rest of my life. Yeah. So I'd read 4 Hour Workweek when it came out, and its lessons aren't as true today as it was back then, but it set this framework for here's how you could really build a business, automate it, travel and continue to run it, and then get as successful as it could be. So
why do you say it's not as true today?
Because some of the tactics back then were using Google AdWords,
right?
And it didn't see social media coming. Right. It didn't really see blogging coming, YouTubers, any of that stuff. So some of the stuff it didn't guess everything right, but the framework was there.
Yeah.
So Woody started growing. I had it under all my control because bought out the partners eventually, so it was 100% for me. And then it started getting more successful, and I could have gotten an office space and hired people and started doing that whole thing, but I wanted to travel.
Yeah.
So it kind of became this game, like how big could I build this thing while hiring no one? Like every software that I would come across, I'm like, okay, give me the 30-day trial. I'm trying this out. And so eventually I had 50, 60 software subscriptions that were running the business in the background. And I was happy enough to do that and not have to hire anyone.
I've seen that like online. There's some lists of like all the tools that you use and all the services. Is that I don't know. Is that giving away your secrets? Is that a good idea? Does it not matter either way?
I've been sharing a lot of stuff online, and I wonder that. But whoever's second place selling wood sunglasses in America is like getting further. Right. So I don't think it matters. Sure. And I get to share these tools and this information with people. Enough people shared information with me along the way. I'm sure of that. Yeah. So I'm happy to do that.
Totally. Yeah. So how does it work? I mean, I get the subscriptions. I think every business now has a ton of subscriptions and software and different tools that they use. The old days of like companies building their own proprietary thing, that's kind of over, right? Yeah, it's kind of so everyone does that, but but you take it further. Or maybe not, but but like a big sunglass company probably has a lot of the same uses a lot of the same tools that you use, but they also have 300 people coming to work every day.
What are they all doing? What? I'd like somebody to tell me at some point what they're all doing, right? I mean, there's stuff that I think companies spend time, money, and employees on that I just don't.
Give me an example.
Probably like financial forecasting, inventory forecasting. I mean, I kind of set up some simple rules in a spreadsheet. Yeah. I have a bookkeeper who I pay, but he's not part of the company. So in a way, I have the same manpower that they all have. Just none of them are my employees. So everyone's a contract. Yeah, it's like using the gig economy or something like that.
So when I talk to business owners, like maybe more old school kind of thinkers, there's this bias that like we can outsource certain things, but our really important people we need in-house, that they somehow have more control over people if they are employees and sitting in the office every day. Yeah. I don't know if you've come across that, either if you've wrestled with that in yourself or if you've heard that out there. Like how do you reconcile that?
Just as a broader trend, like when you think about where the sharing economy is taking our society with Airbnb, Uber, all these things, ownership is overrated. Yeah. So like ownership over an employee. Yeah, I can tell them what to do at any time as long as I'm paying them the right amount of money. Sure. Theoretically, they'll do it, and they'll do it to the best of their ability if you get really good employees, I guess. Yeah. But I don't need total control and total ownership over anybody's skill set. I just need to borrow it for some time, sometimes. So that's kind of my the total ownership over someone's skill set. That doesn't appeal to me, or I don't see the need for it. So anybody that's really feels that way, I don't know why they feel that way.
I don't know. I think it's a little bit of what we were talking about earlier, that list, like that's the way things have been, so that's the way they continue.
Like, inertia. I don't know, what do you call that?
Yeah.
I
think so.
I really ask myself why continually, right? Like you want to check yourself to make sure that beliefs you hold are still valid. Sure. And you need to
well, like, if you go to business school, like they're going to teach you about building, teams, managing people, your staffing plan, like any traditional business plan has a whole staffing plan as part of it, right? Like, I just think those are ingrained into people's thoughts about what a business is.
And I had those same thoughts. Like, am I doing this wrong by not hiring people? But I just maybe.
So when you have that thought,
Yeah.
what do you do?
Well, luckily, I'm kind of lazy. So when something comes up that like I probably should do, I'll just like push it off a little bit.
Okay.
Only when it's like the buzzers are going off, like, Cory,
Sure.
you have to do this right now or something's
Sure.
gonna explode. Then I do it.
Yeah.
So maybe that, I don't meddle. I don't try to tinker with stuff that's working. So maybe that kind of worked to my favor when it came to decisions to hire. Like I probably would have hired some people, but it seems like a lot of work. You gotta like put an ad out there. You gotta interview people.
And then you got to manage them.
You gotta manage them.
Right.
I had like some virtual assistants
Yeah.
along the way, and just coming up with things for them to do was like as much of a task as my own things I got to do. So yeah, never really went that route.
I think it's also when people label themselves as a boss or an owner or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I think in people's minds that comes with certain things you do and certain things you don't do.
Right.
Right. And so taking out the trash or whatever
Right.
is not okay with some people if it's their, if they're at a certain level or they perceive themselves a certain way.
Yeah, and then I don't mind doing all the data entry or updating or whatever stuff I have to do. I mean, I probably outsource some of that stuff, just not to an employee.
Sure.
To a software or whatever I can find.
Is there one part of the business that's hardest because of the way that it's structured?
Probably be more in the creative section, like marketing and social media management, because that's the way the business is now. It's really run on Amazon, so I don't have the same needs for a company that might do a lot of stuff on Facebook, right? Like coming up with videos, doing photo shoots, coming up with.
So you guys don't do that at all?
Content. We're really not that much into content.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be hesitant to say that my model is like should be the new textbook, but it's like you find what works and you go with it, right? So Amazon really, really worked for us. It's really working for a lot of people right now. Seems like a lot of people still fight it, that they want to have their own thing going, even though Amazon's running wild. But the Amazon thing was so appealing because fulfillment by Amazon.
Right.
That was the major key, because then you can travel. Then you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Don't even need an office. You just need the laptop.
Yeah. How do you did you have to kind of train yourself to work and travel and do that together? Like I think when most people travel, they're either like vacation, or they're there for work, and then you're at a conference or meetings or whatever, and it's like again, just sort of the way most people think is just kind of this either or mentality.
Let me find this quote. Let me find this really awesome quote. It's like I'm mixing up some terms here, so I'm kind of messing this up. Hang on. I really want to find this. I don't know how to find it, guys. Yeah. Okay, got it. Okay, so on the topic of like when I'm traveling, how do you really balance the work and the travel?
Yeah.
So came across this quote. The master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his education and recreation. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence at whatever he does, leaving others to decide if he is working or playing. to him, he's always doing both. So that's a really lofty version of what I see myself as. But the thing, like, I really like building a business and working. It's like a little game. You know, can I make this number go up and to the right?
Yeah.
And so I would, even if I'm traveling somewhere really cool, I'd still like to get in and work on whatever I'm working on.
Sure.
And then when I'm done, my idea of leisure isn't sit on the beach and watch the clouds go by. Like, I want to get out there and like ride some motorcycles or go sailing or something that probably is like hard work, but it's still fun.
Sure.
So that's kind of my balance.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that speaks to me, you know, and I think it's also like, you know, again, there's all this conversation now about work-life balance and this idea of like, it's kind of the opposite of what you're saying, right? Which is this, it's like people, I think that's just a response to like the idea of being a workaholic, right? So then they're like, no, you need balance, you need to take time for yourself and all of that. And I think that's a good step in the right direction, except what really, you know, for me, I think the people that I look up to that are really seem to be successful and fulfilled are the ones for whom life and work are the same.
The same, yeah. And sometimes it's gone too far when you see somebody like with a laptop out by the pool. Sure. And you're like, hey man, you can't look at your screen. It's too much glare out there. Like, what are you taking a picture of this for? Sure. So like I like there's a time for work and a time, but yeah, you enjoy it all. It's all part of the same life. Yeah. You can't split your life into two pieces. Right. So.
Yeah. So I've read something you said about that you're really good at saying no to stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's kind of part of your method.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What's something, you know, what stands out and what do you say no to that's hard to say no to?
Okay. So this book I read last year, Essentialism. Did you come across that book?
No.
Okay, so the book itself violates its own title because it's really long and doesn't need to be that long. It says, in order to pursue what's truly essential, you not only have to eliminate the obvious time wasters, you also have to say no to some potentially good deals. Right. Which is hard to do. It takes a lot of discipline. Yeah. Because you could make some money. Sure. So with Woodies, I'm really focused on putting a lot of attention on Amazon, like I've said 100 times, I think. But the decision to not sell on Etsy, not sell on eBay, and not sell on Walmart, which I've had the chance to do. Yeah. Making that decision, I don't have a way of counting how many hours that saved, but sometimes the best deals are the ones you don't make. And so keeping that singular focus on one marketplace, that was saying no. I used to sell on those marketplaces, and then I saw how much my time was just chopped up, and so I just deleted my account for those. Wow. So those were good deals. They were bringing in money. Sure. It wasn't moving the needle. It wasn't essential money, but it was taking up enough time that it wasn't worth it.
So is there a process to that of like figuring out what's essential when you're faced with a decision like that?
Is there a process? I mean, I guess. I mean, I'm an economist. That's my degree. Okay. I like attaching rates to things. Huh. So dollars per hour. Okay. So I came up with a thing. What's my time worth? I came up with this a long time ago, and I put it at $30 an hour. Okay. And so I always have this example because this was the first thing that happened where I used my little equation. Yeah. I had like a get into the gym free pass, and I left my house, which was 20 minutes away, and I got there, I forgot my pass, and it was $20 to get into the gym. Right. So am I going to return home to get it or just pay it? So like I came up with this number, like here's how I'm going to make my decisions. So that's funny. When I do my math on something like Amazon, the number is like almost astronomical. The amount of actual work I do times the money that comes back in. Really? So if I compare that number to something on another platform or trying to get into wholesale, something that's incredibly time intensive, and you don't make that much money on it. Like things like that, I just said a big no to it.
So another like common business idea is that is about strategic planning, right? So thinking what's around the corner, where is this, how do we grow this business?
Yeah.
Which I think leads people to invest in things that aren't going to pay off, aren't going to pay $30 an hour today, with the hopes that they will in 18 months or something like that.
Right.
So is that part of what you do, or do you just kind of play the cards that are in front of you?
I guess it is easier for me to say now that I've already done it, right? 'Cause you have to make that first decision.
Sure.
So, gosh, I came across a note the other day. I had my list of to-dos.
Yeah.
And number 6 on my list was register for Amazon and start selling on Amazon. It was such a low priority for me then.
Yeah.
So, how did I make that jump and get on there? Gosh, I don't know. At some point in the early stages, you can't be too smart. You kind of have to be stupid and make some decisions that aren't obviously the best decision. But if you, I don't know what kind of decision making you'd apply to that. Amazon was just this huge, rolling downhill, huge.
Yeah, it's not too hard to bet on Amazon.
Yeah.
Other than I've heard people complain about the splits.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the
or their
splits?
No, their fees and their how much of the full retail price you actually keep. Right. I've heard people complain about that from Amazon.
Right.
But betting on that Amazon's going to be the place to build your business versus Etsy or something like that, whose future may be less certain.
Right. So
it's probably pretty safe.
So I made the right decision back then, but you should use something like your personal passion. What do you love doing? What feels like play to you, even though most people call it work. If you can do something like that, the numbers might not bear it out that you're more profitable by making this decision, but if you're fulfilled and you're enjoying it, it's got a good chance of turning into something. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That's what I think.
Okay, so I want to talk about something else you said. I think it's in your social.
Yeah,
I think it's on your Twitter. It says something like I create brands and build communities around them.
Yeah, did I say that, or did I quote? Yeah. I might have been quoting someone. I don't know.
I think it's in your Twitter profile.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You're in your bio.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like something 2012 me would say.
Okay. Fair enough. I know we're not always updating Twitter that frequently anymore.
Yeah. I create brands and build communities around them.
I think that's what it says.
I could see why I said that.
How do you? So okay. Well, let's pretend you said that.
Okay.
What does it mean to build a community? How do you do that, and what is it?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
The first step is you have to live the community that you're trying to attract.
Okay.
Right. So I embody the Woodies life that I'm trying to sell people on. I've got classic cars. I live in Venice, hang out by the beach.
Yeah.
I'm into that 50s aesthetic. That's really.
What classic cars?
I've got a 53 Mercury. That's a Woody wagon. Got a 64 Comet.
Nice.
55 T-Bird. 3 VW Things. And a bus, 62 bus.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I think I forget.
Nice. You're doing it.
That's all.
That's amazing.
That's my thing. That's my fun thing.
Yeah.
I'm starting a new business, sort of. It's Captain's Classic Cars.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole captain persona kind of happened by accident.
Is that right?
So I'm just kind of rolling with it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so you got to live the lifestyle,
right?
Whatever that is.
There's a lot of people saying a lot of things on the internet that aren't really accurate. So I think when people see behind the scenes that you're really doing what you say you're doing,
so modeling it and then beyond that, is there something else to kind of bringing people along with you, or is it just like?
You say modeling?
Well, I guess that's what I was saying. Is like you're saying you model the community, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you said modeling. Like, I tried to put myself in the photo shoot one time as a model, and it didn't. It didn't go well. So I was like, don't be your own model.
No, not that way.
Be the model citizen of your brand. But
exactly.
Don't think. Yeah.
Right. And so then, is that it, or is there like more to bringing people along?
Yeah, I've got to give more credit to my mom for the community building for Woodies, because she like baked the DNA into Woodies.
How do you mean?
All the reviews you'll read online are just glowing reviews about how great she is.
Yeah.
And
she handles the customer service.
Oh yeah, that captain guy looks like he's having a lot of fun, but we really appreciate Pam for like keeping everybody happy.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's amazing.
I really got lucky with.
Yeah.
Got a great mom, and she cares a lot. She does what she has to do for Woodies.
How much, whenever I think of customer service, I think of Zappos. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Amazon has amazing customer service too, but Zappos is really built on that foundation. Mm-hmm. How much do you follow or pay attention to them?
I took a lot from Zappos. I mean, they are just relentlessly awesome.
Yeah.
They're not. It's one thing to issue a refund or process a warranty claim. It's another one to energetically do it, right? Like enthusiastically.
Yeah.
And I read Seth Godin a lot, and he talks about every opportunity you get to form a relationship, to build trust in this world. And so every time, the first business I had, every warranty claim I processed, I cringed because I saw it as money leaving out the door.
Yeah.
And now I'm lucky I have a lower priced product that I can be generous with our warranty policy. Yeah. But now I really see every interaction where we do process or return as something that's going to come back down the future. Mm. And that's just being able to have a long-term view of your business. It like really changes every interaction. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at.
How do you think about competition?
Competition. So everyone listening, these glasses, it's not like you couldn't go on Alibaba and make them. There's certainly 100 other brands.
Like most products.
Yeah, like most products.
Yeah.
Anybody could do them. So competition, talk about Warren Buffett, he says build moats around your business. So on Amazon, I have thousands of reviews on certain products. I think that's my defensibility. Mm-hmm. And then the brand I've created, whether by accident or what parts of it were intentional. Yeah. People know Woodies. People recognize the captain's hat if they've been on the site. Yeah. And I guess that's my defensibility. There's nothing proprietary that I'm doing. So
in the fashion business especially, but lifestyle products, right? We think there's an idea that the brand is an expression of who you are, of the customer. Okay. Right. What sunglasses I choose, if I'm a Ray-Ban guy or a Prada guy or a, whatever, or a Woodies guy, that says something about me, right? And that I want to broadcast to the world, right? That's sort of that's the prevailing thinking in branding.
For sure.
Do you find that are you seeing that as true with Woodies?
Yeah, luckily Woodies can really appeal to a wide range. I mean, anybody can find something to like about Woodies. Yeah. At first, when I was doing Woodies, I thought the eco angle was the thing that people would really be obsessed about, and it's not. No, it's just not. Okay, plant 3 trees for it. I don't think anybody really cared. Right. So the thing I focused on was value. So how much, I just kind of set my price one time, and I'm like, this is just going to be my price forever. So then I went about creating the best value I could at that price. Mm-hmm. And so not only is it sunglasses, it's a guitar pick, it's temporary tattoos, it's stickers, it's little motivational cards. Oh, cool. It's the service. Right. So that's that's kind of where that went. When I see people out in the world wearing Woodies, I just think they look freaking cool. So I think that's what people want. It's something, $25, you can't beat that, and then they look cool too.
Yeah.
A lot of Ray-Ban people are like, why am I still spending $175, $200?
Sure.
I mean,
yeah. You talked about models, so I know you shot something with Kendall Jenner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I read something about like that maybe that wasn't the best move for you.
Yeah.
I'm curious, two things. One, first of all, what did she do for your business? Like, what did having her in a campaign mean to the business?
Right.
And two, what'd you learn?
Wow. All right, Kendall, I approached her at a time before influencers became a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
She was young, right?
She was young. She was 17. Yeah. Instagram was young. She only had 4 million followers. I don't know how many hundreds she has now.
Right.
So I was able to, first of all, afford her after some lengthy negotiations to get her. But it didn't cause a spike. It didn't
really?
It didn't cause like a hockey stick by any means.
Okay.
And then it didn't really move the whole needle. That's why I've really been hesitant to do influencer marketing since then. But what I learned from was just like man, it's always fun to just go for it in business. Like hiring her was all the money I had. It was kind of the biggest bet I ever made. Yeah. And it ended up working out. But gosh, what was I doing back then? I hired Kendall Jenner to try to promote my Kickstarter campaign. Like, just listen to that sentence. That's just not a recipe for success.
Sure.
So just you gotta know what you're doing before you take a big swing like that.
So if you were talking to some, young entrepreneurs who are starting up new businesses, and they were like, "Oh, we know you did this Kendall Jenner thing. Like, what do you teach us something about influencer marketing?"
Yeah.
What would you advise them?
Be your own influencer. Yeah. Right? Like, you create your own tribe. Yeah. You don't need to borrow someone else's influence. Build your own, and the people that they form your tribe are gonna be, they're not gonna care if Kendall Jenner or whoever endorsed your product on a day. Yeah. Like they're gonna see the authenticity of what you're doing and follow you for that reason. So that's the Seth Godin thing that always stuck out of my mind. 10 true fans. Yeah. Can you really convince 10 people who are not your friends or family to give a crap about what you're doing? And if the answer is no, you got to focus on being more authentic until you can. Hiring an influencer is like, it's like burning tissue paper to start a fire. Like it just burns up and it's bright for a second, but then it's gone. Yeah, it's not gonna build a real fire. Yeah.
So where do you want to take Woodies? What's the goal?
Just want to keep living it. It finally grew out of my mom's garage, so I was shipping product to her garage and sending it into Amazon. And eventually we just got too big for that. So I want to just keep it going as far as I can handle it. I mean, it's getting bigger. I don't want to own it forever. I don't know what I want to do with it. I'm just going to kind of take it a little bit at a time. Okay. I mean, my identity is really tied into it now, so it's hard to think about letting it go. But I don't know. Yeah. Just kind of keep doing it.
I think that's a really interesting challenge for people building businesses like where you are so tied to the business. Is like you have to be in it enough, but if you're in it too much,
then you can't untangle yourself from it.
Yeah, both directions. Like the brand might not survive without you, right? And you might, not that you won't survive, but you won't be the same without the brand. Right. 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 It's an interesting challenge.
It is, and Woodies is probably in the camp of I'm too entangled, too entrenched. I don't know how I'm going to sell this thing because. Well,
so you talked about your mom being a big part of it.
Yeah. How are you going to replace her? Right. It's heart and soul.
Yeah. So you talked about she's much better at customer service than you.
Yeah.
What's your strength?
What's my strength? I know a little bit about everything. That's kind of my thing. I'm not an expert in any one field.
Mm-hmm.
So my strength is just, I want to say that there's something I'm doing that's so extra special, but I can't even give myself that much credit. I mean, really it is Amazon and that whole machine.
Yeah.
Like we kind of work for the machines,
sure,
don't we? That I position myself to the most favorably for getting more sales on Amazon, but I don't know what I'm really doing. I came up with the idea, so I kind of
that's important.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, I gotta ask you a little lightning round.
Okay.
But I want to talk about travel for a second because I know that's a big part of what you do.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
How do you travel?
So 2016, I was named one of Airbnb's top 200 travelers because I stayed almost 300 nights that year on Airbnb.
Yeah.
I also have the other.
What do you get for that?
Nothing. An email saying, "Cool,
right?
Cool, good for you."
Awesome.
Nothing. So my cousin Clint works for American Airlines, and I'm on his special list of flying.
That's
so that was before I could afford it.
Sure.
I had the standby flight stuff. So anybody that out there that knows someone who works for an airlines, go buy them a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
Get that going. That'll help.
For sure.
That plus Airbnb, and then starting to make money with Woodies, being able to travel.
Yeah.
I sold my car, let go of my lease, so I had less than 100 possessions, and I was light as could be, so I wanted to travel and see the world. Yeah. And man, it's all out there. It's happening.
What's travel is one of people's favorite things to complain about on social media. Is it like the airlines or whatever?
Who's complaining about the airlines? Have you seen flights lately? They're so cheap.
It's great. I'm not one to complain. Although I will write to American when I see them doing something stupid.
And they
but
do.
But I love they get me all over the world whenever I want to go.
It's amazing.
Pretty affordably. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What a world.
So give me some travel hacks.
Travel hacks, man. From the 4-Hour Workweek. Yeah. The amount you enjoy your trip is directly proportional to how light your pack is. Like it's just, I can't believe how consistently you can plot that. Yeah. The less you bring, the more you'll enjoy your trip. So packing light is obviously the big one. Me choosing an Airbnb, don't go for price, go for location. That's the easy one. Yeah. Trying to learn at least 10 words in whatever language you go visit, because the amount you can make someone smile just by saying thank you in their own language goes a really long way.
That's good.
Just not being afraid to meet someone strange from a new place.
Do you travel by yourself mostly?
A lot, yeah. I prefer to travel alone. I'd say the less kind of that first thing, the amount of people, the less people you travel with, the more you enjoy it. Sure. We've all been on those like 10-person trips where no one can decide how to eat. Right. Whatever.
I've learned on those to just decide for myself and then invite whoever wants to join. Right. And like sometimes I eat by myself, sometimes it's all 10 of us, whatever, and it kind of like I definitely had some early trips the opposite way where like we're 4 of us are arguing for 2 hours about whatever.
I know, it's the worst. Yeah. So I got a standing rule when traveling with groups: no complaining. Yeah. And if anybody gets caught complaining, instant 20 push-ups. Nice. I don't care if we're at the club, we're at the restaurant, we could be.
Oh, that's great.
Zip lining. I don't care what we're doing. 20
I love
push-ups.
That. Yeah.
So that cuts out a lot of the.
Yeah, that's cool.
Bad vibes.
That's really good.
I'll throw that one in there.
Do you use the ITA travel matrix?
Is that Google Flights runs on that?
Yeah, it runs on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That thing's great. That thing's freaking great.
So there's a hack that I haven't figured it out yet, but somebody told me about it, like using that. So he told me he flies LA to New York to LA business for $500.
What?
And so what he does is he books New York to Cabo.
Okay.
That has a layover in LA and just gets off in LA and doesn't take the second leg.
Right.
And like that's just a cheap route and whatever. And he said, in theory, you can do that all over the world. You just have to find the whatever the cheap route is.
What do they call those? Hidden leg journeys?
Yeah.
So you have to do those on one-way flights.
Yes.
Because if you
has to be one way.
Because if you do them round trip, then the second leg will get canceled.
That's right.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that yet. That's interesting.
I haven't either, but it takes some work to like figure it out.
There's a site that I think does that, Skip Lagged.
Oh, really?
So check out.
Yeah.
You might have to check me on that, but Skip Lag, I think.
I'm gonna look that up.
How's that? Cool.
Nice. That's cool. Okay, lightning round.
All right, let's do it.
What's your favorite city to travel to?
Rio de Janeiro.
Yes.
Man, all the beaches, all the fun, cheap.
Yeah, I love it.
Music, can't beat it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite DJ?
Rio. DJ. I'm gonna shout out my friend DJ Wilbuck up in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's he play?
He's got like this vinyl disco rap thing going on. It's all kind of weird, but it's cool.
So you sound like a reader like I am. What's the last great book you read?
Last great book I read. Let's see. How to Change Your Mind, Michael Pollan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's kind of experimenting with psychedelics, and his journey from a zero to experienced user was really interesting to see.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What movie have you seen the most in your life?
Catch Me If You Can.
Oh man, that's great.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched that with my son the other day. It was great.
Isn't that great?
So fun. Tell me one decision that changed your life forever.
I was living in Oklahoma at the age of 13 and living with my mom, had everything I could ask for, and I was very happy. And I just got the impression that I wanted to go live with my dad and learn what it was like to be a man. So I decided to move to Florida, and it was really difficult, and we didn't get along for a while, but that set the stage for me not being afraid to try new things and new environments. And going to a new school, meeting all new people. Orlando, Florida. So it's Celebrations, like a little town near Disney World.
Sure.
But that was the last bit of fear that I let go of, traveling to somewhere new or meeting new people or fitting in a new place. Mm-hmm. That was the big change point for me.
Complete the sentence.
Okay.
I don't have talent. I have blank.
I have indifference towards failure or success. I'm just gonna try it either way. Whether I think I'm good enough to try something or not, I'm gonna try it anyway. And then, hey, maybe I'll make the grade. That's
great.
I'm not afraid to try anything.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So if I worked for you, if I was one of the many folks you outsource things to, what's something I would hear you say over and over?
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I've probably said that a few times this week. But one note on the outsourcing stuff is I always make sure that I know enough about what I'm outsourcing to kind of be dangerous, to kind of check the person that's working on it. And that's that advice. When I haven't done that, that's come back to bite me. So you have to have a small understanding of what you're dealing with in order to hire someone to do it.
Yeah, that's Impera stuff, right?
Yeah.
So who would you be most excited to learn appreciates your work?
Seth Godin. Seth Godin was like, hey, good looking sunglasses you got there. I'd be pretty stoked.
That's cool.
Pretty stoked, yeah.
Nice. Cool, man. Thanks for doing this.
Awesome.
So much fun talking to you.
Had a great time.
Appreciate it.
For sure.
Yeah. So that was Cory Stout, Rebel Radio. Make sure you check out Woodies sunglasses. And then leave us a review on iTunes, a comment on Twitter or Facebook. Make sure you check out our YouTube page for videos from a lot of our interviews. All of that is at Rebel Radio Net. And most importantly, come back next week for more Rebel Radio. Peace.